Emma Baker's hands shook as she typed the humiliating message into her phone. James, I hate to ask again, but I need $40 for Lily's formula. I get paid Friday. I swear I'll pay you back. She pressed send before her resolve could falter, then sank onto her worn-out couch, overcome by exhaustion. From the baby monitor, the soft, rhythmic breathing of her 6-month-old daughter filled the quiet room. With precisely $2.13 in her checking account and no formula left, Emma had already stretched the last bottle by watering it down more than she was comfortable with. Sending that text felt degrading, but her pride was a small price to pay for her daughter's well-being. 3 miles away, in the penthouse office of Meridian Technologies, the phone of Alexander Reed buzzed. Before we continue, it would honestly make my day if you'd hit that subscribe button. Also, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from, so please drop a comment below. The 42-year-old CEO glanced at the notification, anticipating another update from his executive team about the imminent merger. Instead, he found himself looking at a message that was clearly not intended for him. Alexander frowned, running a hand through his salt and pepper hair. He seldom used this personal number. Only a select few people even possessed it. This was undoubtedly a wrong number. Still, something in the raw desperation of those few sentences gave him pause before he could delete it. Emma's phone pinged with a reply that made her heart seize up. I think you have the wrong number. I'm not James. A wave of horror washed over her as she double-checked the number. She had mistyped the final digit of her brother's new phone number. I'm so sorry, she typed back rapidly. Please ignore that. Wrong number. She threw her phone onto the couch, the shame burning through her fatigue. It felt like just one more failure in a long line of them. Alexander couldn't rationalize why he didn't just accept her apology and move on. Maybe it was the mention of a baby, or perhaps it was simply a welcome diversion from the relentless negotiations that had monopolized his life for months. Is your baby going to be okay? He typed, surprising himself with the question. When Emma saw his response, she blinked, confused. Her first instinct was caution, but exhaustion and desperation had eroded her usual defenses. We'll manage, she replied curtly. Sorry to bother you. I could help, came the instant reply. Emma scoffed. In her experience, help always came with strings attached. Thanks, but I don't take money from strangers, she typed back. Smart policy, Alexander responded. He paused, then added, I'm Alex. Now I'm not a stranger. What formula does your baby need? Emma stared at the screen, torn between suspicion and a sliver of hope. Why would you help someone you don't know? She asked. In his office, Alexander looked out over the city. Let's just say I've been fortunate. And I remember when I wasn't, he replied. It was a partial truth. Emma's exhaustion was clouding her judgment. The formula was En Famille Gentlis. Lily had colic, and it was the only brand that worked. It was also the most expensive. What's your Venmo? Alexander asked. Emma hesitated, then sent her username. A moment later, a notification appeared. Emma gasped. This Alex hadn't sent $40. He had sent $400. This is too much, she typed frantically. I can't accept this. Consider it an advance for the next few months, he replied. One less thing to worry about. Tears welled in Emma's eyes. This unexpected act of kindness from a complete stranger broke through the dam of her emotions. Thank you, she typed, the words feeling inadequate. You're welcome, Emma, he replied. Take care of Lily. It wasn't until hours later, returning from the store with formula and groceries, that she realized with a sudden chill she had never told the stranger her daughter's name. The next morning, Emma woke up to another message from the mysterious Alex. Hope you and Lily had a better night. I have a proposition for you. Emma's guard went up instantly. Here it comes, she thought bitterly, the strings. What kind of proposition? She asked. Professional, not personal, came the quick reply. I run a company called Meridian Technologies. We need someone with accounting skills for a short-term project. Your brother James mentioned you were looking for work. Emma nearly dropped her phone. How do you know my brother? How do you know I'm an accountant? Her heart pounded as she checked her social media profiles, all of which were set to private. I apologize for the intrusion, Alexander wrote. After our conversation, I was curious. Your number is very similar to James Connor's, who works in my HR department. When I mentioned the wrong number text to him this morning, he realized who you must be. He speaks very highly of your accounting skills. The explanation seemed plausible, but it was still unsettling. It seemed too perfect, too convenient. Yet her brother did work in HR for a tech company. She had sent out resumes for weeks without a single response. Could she afford to reject this opportunity based on suspicion alone? I'd be interested in hearing more, she finally typed back, but I'd need flexibility. I have Lily and childcare is... We offer on-site childcare for employees, Alexander wrote back immediately, and flexible working hours. Come in tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll tell reception to expect you. As Emma prepared Lily's bottle, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. The Meridian Technologies headquarters towered over Emma, a monolith of gleaming glass and steel. She adjusted Lily in her carrier and walked through the revolving doors. Emma Baker? The security guard asked before she could introduce herself. Mr. Reed's office is on the top floor. Martha will meet you at the elevator. The seamless efficiency of her arrival only amplified her sense of unreality. An elegant woman in her 50s led her directly to a corner suite with breathtaking views. He'll be with you shortly, Martha said. Emma settled onto a leather couch, taking in the office. It was surprisingly personal for a CEO's space, with bookshelves, family photos, and even a guitar in the corner. She looks peaceful, a deep voice said from the doorway. Emma turned to see a tall, well-dressed man watching her. This, she realized with a start, was Alexander Reed, the stranger from the texts. Mr. Reed, she began, standing up. Alex, please, he corrected, shaking her hand. There was a brief, awkward silence. I should explain, he said finally. Yesterday was the anniversary of my daughter's death. Emma's breath caught. I'm so sorry. Charlotte would have been 8, he continued, his gaze drifting to Lily. Leukemia. When I got your text about needing formula, it felt like a chance to help someone in a way I couldn't help her. The confession disarmed Emma, melting away the suspicion she'd been harboring. He handed her a folder detailing the position, a 3-month contract with full benefits and a competitive salary, more than she'd made at her previous firm. The job was to reconcile financial discrepancies before the merger. Why didn't you just tell me who you were in the texts? She asked. Would you have believed me? He countered. Hi, I'm a CEO. Let me help you. Emma had to admit she probably wouldn't have. As their meeting concluded, he made one last offer. The on-site daycare has a waiting list. Until a spot opens, would you be comfortable working from my private office suite? There's a small conference room you can use, and Lily would be welcome. So Emma Baker, Alex said, extending his hand. Do we have a deal? Emma took his hand. Yes. Thank you. 3 weeks into her contract, Emma had settled into a surreal but productive routine. The conference room next to Alex's office was now her workspace, complete with a crib for Lily. The reconciliation project was challenging, and she soon found that the financial discrepancies she was hired to investigate were subtle but persistent, suggesting a troubling pattern. "These numbers don't add up," Emma muttered, comparing spreadsheets. A soft knock came at the door. It was Alex, looking tired. "Making progress?" he asked, crouching to greet a delighted Lily who had grown fond of him. "Some," Emma said. "But I found something concerning in the Thompson acquisition accounts." Alex's attention shifted immediately. Emma showed him the files, explaining the consistent variances. Someone's been systematically siphoning small amounts from multiple accounts. Alex's face grew dark as he studied the screen. "How much are we talking about?" "About $3 million over the past 18 months, Emma stated quietly. A flicker of concern crossed Alex's face. "I need you to prepare a complete report. Don't share this with anyone else yet, not even James." "Not even your CFO?" Emma asked, taken aback. Alex's jaw tightened. "Especially not Vince. Not until we know more." That evening, Emma did her own digging from home. She compiled a disturbing timeline. The financial irregularities began shortly after Vincent Harmon was appointed CFO. The next day, she arrived early to find Alex's office dark. A text from him explained he was in an emergency board meeting. By lunchtime, her suspicions had hardened into certainty. She was so engrossed that she didn't see Vincent Harmon standing in her doorway. "Hard at work, I see," he said smoothly, his smile cold. "Convenient arrangement you have here," he continued, gesturing toward Lily. "Private office, bringing your child to work. Alex must think very highly of your skills." The insinuation made Emma's cheeks burn. "Mr. Reed values efficiency," she replied stiffly. "Just remember, Ms. Baker," Vincent said with a veiled threat, "Meridian was doing fine before you arrived, and it will continue long after your temporary position ends." Shaken, Emma was still processing the confrontation when her phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. "Miss Baker, this is Detective Russo with the Financial Crimes Division," a brisk voice said. "We're investigating some irregularities at Meridian. I'd like to ask you a few questions." Emma's blood ran cold. When Alex finally returned late that afternoon, Emma was frantic. "The police called me," she blurted out. "Financial crimes, and Vincent Harmon was here acting suspicious." Alex paled. "Damn it. This is happening faster than I expected." He paced his office before turning to her. "Emma, I need to tell you something, and I need you to trust me." "Trust you?" she repeated. "Am I being set up?" "No," he said firmly. "The opposite." He pulled a thick file from a locked drawer. "I haven't been entirely honest about why I hired you. Your brother mentioned you months ago. When we needed a trustworthy outsider to investigate internal theft, I remembered him talking about you. The wrong number text was a genuine coincidence, but once I realized who you were, I saw an opportunity." "You manipulated me," Emma whispered. "I'm working with the FBI on this, Emma," Alex continued, his voice urgent. "Vincent Harmon isn't just embezzling, he's laundering money." Before she could respond, Martha burst in without knocking. "Alex, they're here. Board security and the police. They're saying you've been embezzling funds, and they specifically mentioned Miss Baker as an accomplice." Terror washed over Emma as she clutched Lily. "This can't be happening." Alex made a split-second decision. "Martha, use the private elevator. Get Emma and Lily out of here now. Take them to the safe house. Alex, I can't just... Listen to me, he interrupted, gripping her shoulders. Vincent knows you found the evidence. He's trying to frame us both. If you stay, they will separate you from Lily. That was all Emma needed to hear. I'm sorry for not being completely honest, Alex said softly as Martha guided her toward a hidden door. But I swear, everything else has been real. The safe house was a secure apartment across town. Martha explained that Alex had been preparing for this confrontation for months after an initial investigation into Vincent was suspiciously shut down. He needed irrefutable proof, which Emma had now found. Hours later, Alex contacted Emma from a new phone, confirming he'd been released for now. He asked her to meet him and his FBI contact the next day. You found the evidence, he wrote. You can explain it better than anyone. Despite her fear, Emma agreed. The plan was for Alex to attend a scheduled board meeting where Vincent intended to formally accuse him. Emma and an FBI team, led by Agent Keller, would wait in an adjacent room. At the meeting, Vincent stood and delivered his manufactured findings. The evidence is clear, he announced. Alexander Reed, with the assistance of an accomplice named Emma Baker, has been diverting company funds. Financial records don't lie, Vincent said smoothly. No, they don't, Alex agreed, signaling to the next room. Agent Keller entered, followed by Emma and two other agents. The shock on Vincent's face was quickly replaced by a cold sneer. Actually, Emma said, her voice steady, I'm here to explain how you've been stealing from Meridian. For the next half hour, Emma methodically dismantled Vincent's lies, presenting her clear, chronological evidence. As she finished, Vincent lunged across the table toward her, a letter opener flashing in his hand. Alex moved instantly, shielding her. After a brief struggle, agents had Vincent restrained on the floor. Alex! Emma cried, seeing blood on his shirt. It's just a scratch, he managed, grimacing through the pain. 3 hours later, with Vincent and two complicit board members in custody, Emma sat with Alex in his office. So what happens now? She asked. Professionally, damage control, he said. Personally, that depends on you. Your contract has 2 months left, but I'd like to offer you a permanent position as head of internal audit. Emma was stunned by the promotion. You've more than earned it, Alex said sincerely. Meridian needs your integrity. He paused, his expression serious. Emma, I know how this started wasn't ideal. But everything since, getting to know you, seeing your brilliance, that's been the most real thing in my life since I lost Charlotte. I need time to think, she said honestly. Take all the time you need, Alex replied. 6 months later, Emma, now firmly established in her new role, attended the Meridian Technologies holiday party. Lily, now a toddler, moved between her and Alex, who was now much more than just her boss. Ready for the announcement, he whispered, taking her hand. Emma nodded, feeling the new weight of an engagement ring on her finger. As Alex shared their news with the employees, Emma thought back to the desperate text sent to a wrong number that had, against all odds, found exactly the right person. Later that night, as she tucked Lily into bed in their new home, she reflected on a truth that still astonished her. Sometimes, the mistakes we believe will shatter our lives are actually guiding us to where we were always meant to be.